اوكي نحط الفون اون سايلنت.
We are now live. رح أعمل بس I'm gonna share the link in our chat for all of our attendees. Whoever just joined us, welcome on board. Azzat, welcome on board. Abdullah. And hi, Azzat, welcome on board. Azzat is saying hi from the Architects.
Hey everyone.
So we're glad to have you. We're just going to wait until it's 7:30, and we will be recording this whole session, and we will be live streaming on YouTube for future reference. And we're just going to wait a few more minutes until everyone joins us at 7:30.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Okay. Okay, so we have 2 more minutes. I'm just going to wait a little bit longer, Hussam, and then we're going to start.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
Everyone on board. I'm just gonna make sure everything is working fine on my end. And okay, so we have people also with us on YouTube and watching us live. Welcome.
Are you shared the link? Yes.
I shared the link is on in our chat. So if you would like to share that with anyone, please go ahead. And also for our guests and for our attendees, if you'd like to share the link, we've shared it on our chat. So please go ahead and share it between your peers so that we can have people also viewing live, which are not, which were not able to access the registration link.
It was a bit messy, that link. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Actually, it's one of our ways to actually engage globally with people who are not able to access this chat and this interview. So it's a chance for people to watch it at a later date. So this is actually one of our signatures.
Yeah,
yeah, that's cool. So it's 7:30 now here in Qatar, in Doha, and I would like to welcome everyone on board in our 3rd episode of Architectures Entertainment tonight. For everyone joining us, allow me to introduce our guest for our 3rd episode, Hussam Eddin Mustafa. Hussam, welcome, and we are very honored to have you. I'm going to just start with a small introduction for those who don't know you. So Hussam is currently actually an APG and specification manager with Jotun Qatar. He has extensive experience in the construction field with consultants, with main contractors, and even with suppliers, whether locally or regionally. He attained his bachelor in architecture and urban planning, and he has worked within the roles of sales and technical specifications. What's really actually enlightening and really insightful for us to have Hussam with us on board is that he always tries to engage his expertise with his wisdom into his practice. So we are very honored to have you once again, Hussam, with us.
Thank you.
Who doesn't know the structure of our interviews? Basically, the structure of Architectures Entertainment tonight is a set of 10 questions, by which 4 questions will shed light on Hussam's expertise and knowledge. 4 questions will focus on the influence of this pandemic on the career and the professional expertise. And finally, your future endeavors, Hussam, and your developments. And each section will be disrupted by our usual entertaining pick and tick. One will be a quote from your end, another one will be an advice, and the final one, I will show you a picture, and I would be delighted to hear your insights and your reflection on it. Our duration will be a maximum of an hour, and we will try to keep it as short and simple as possible. After our interview, we will keep room for your Q&A, if you have any, which you can share throughout the interview in our Q&A section. So Hussam, once again, if you'd like to share anything before I start, please go ahead.
Before we start, I would like to thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you for the beautiful introduction. That was really great. And I just want to say that I'm really happy to be joining the Architects Hub again and again, because it's really a great platform for enhancing this kind of communication between architects, and also including suppliers and other parts of the construction cycles into the dialogue. So once again, thank you for this beautiful introduction and for the invitation for today. Thank you.
So I'd like to start off with my first question, Hussam. I would like you to tell me and tell the audience more about your career development and how it shifted from being an architect initially to eventually specializing in specifications, in quality assurance and technical support.
So I think that will let us go back to 2010. That was the time that I shifted the career. I was an architect. I was just a fresh graduate before that, and I worked in a couple of architecture firms and construction companies, mainly contracting also. And I was hit, like many others, with some unfortunate events in Egypt, which was the revolution in 2011, and that actually changed everything. And I'm really happy that I survived a pandemic and a revolution in this short time. So it's actually the same. Pandemics and revolution, these sudden changes in reality are the same. My company went through lots of kind of disruptions because of the political situation in Egypt, and unfortunately, I had no chance unless to find something new. And this is the first main point that I took from this: that don't settle, don't stop. And I'm an architect, and I loved my job. So at that time, I had no chance to continue working as an architect, and I have a chance to join a manufacturing company. It was called Savito. It's for specialized cementitious renderings in Egypt, and I thought, why not? Why don't I have this kind of boldness and try something new? And that's when it all started. I started working with them as a technical service and specification executive, and I went to consultants, architect, and I dealt with them, and that was the start of me going again back to the architecture market, but from another track. That's the main point of how I shifted from there to the specifications. Yes.
Actually, that's very interesting, Hussam. Thank you for sharing your shift, because it happens to a lot of us, and we all pass through this experience, whether we like it or we don't, but it happens. So off to my next question. You say that you are a sustainability enthusiast and you are fascinated by sustainable approaches. Having said you worked on many key projects in the MEIA region or in Qatar as well, what are the most important principles of maintaining sustainability in construction projects from your own perspective?
To be honest, it's the way we look to the sustainability issue. it's just very simple. People look to sustainable approach or to green approach as something we need to comply with because there is a standard, there is kind of restrictions that we need to overcome. But in reality, sustainability does add value. This is the main point. If we look to the sustainability approach or to the green building as something that really adds value, that there is some kind of return of investment that will happen if we endeavor this kind of approach. Yes, it will happen, and I have an interesting story about that. For sure, everyone knows Taipei 101 building, which is the icon of the green buildings worldwide. This project actually was not built under any sustainability kind of what do you call it? Standard. It was before even the introduction of LEED that time. But it is now certified by LEED for existing buildings because it met all the requirements and exceeded. But the interesting part is that this 508 meters tall building is actually saving till date $700,000 per year in energy bills. That's because it is implementing the strictest kind of standards for the energy consumption as per the LEED. One more thing is the water usage also. It's saving 28,000 metric ton of potable water each year. And this is not in just any comparison. It is in comparison with similar buildings in size and in usage in offices. It's 101 floors. So just imagine if all these kind of buildings know that the owner will know that he will save this kind of money. It is a huge amount that will make him for sure ask why we don't go for this approach. It's not just something to market our project, it's green. No, it's something that will really add value to the project. This is the main point about sustainability. It is adding value in reality, and this is what we need to convey to other partners.
Hussam, that's really interesting because what you shared is like you shared your enthusiasm and your interest in sustainability from a quite different approach than the technical or the very like abide by the book perspective, because who would have actually expected that Taipei 101 building would actually contribute to be one of the most sustainable buildings, and it didn't actually follow the principles. So thank you for sharing. I also shared the name of the building for anyone who's interested with us in the chat. Hussam, some people are saying that the audio is not clear, so I hope it's better. I would like someone just to let us know from the audience if it's better now, because I
can hear you all well, and
I can hear you as well. I hope it's better. We are live streaming on YouTube, so please let us. Oh, okay, it's good. So after my third question, what are the major aspects you focus on most while working on mega projects to be able to achieve custom-made solutions? Because in your work, you always aim for such customized solutions. So how do you actually achieve that?
It's basically by getting to know the people that I'm dealing with. The first thing is mega projects, by definition, they are mega, they are big, they are complex, and they are really consuming. If you're an architect or an engineer who is working in one of these projects, it's really a problematic life. It's not that easy. And you are not searching for a product. Mm-hmm. Products are there everywhere. Everyone has a product. You're searching for a solution for a problem that you face on your job. And this is where we can really contribute. It's not that we produce something and want you to buy it. But the other way to say that is that we can help you find the right solution to your needs. And in many cases, we actually end up proposing something even that we don't have, because this is the right thing for the project, whether it's the right technically or you don't have to go that high on the budget. So it's building trust between us and our stakeholders in the project, the customers, whether it's the contractor or the client or the consultant, is when you deal with us, you will get the thing that is right for you, whether it's from us or just from anywhere. This is the main idea, is that you have a problem and we try to help you find the solution. We are your partner and we share the responsibility of finding this kind of solution with you, not just providing some kind of commodity or a product. This is the essence of it.
That's very interesting, because customization has to do actually with clients' needs and demands, and customizing things according to your clients' needs, as you're saying, in order for you to solve their problem, is another different also approach of customization, and how to customize your solutions based on the problems of your clients. Very interesting. Thank you, Hussam. So after my fourth and last question in this section, so you have a very interesting motto, and I'm very excited for this. You say that, or I quote you, you like to consult, or you say that consult, don't sell. So how are you able to accomplish such a mindset when dealing with clients? Because it's a very nice approach, actually.
It's actually based on the last point that we spoke about. It's about not talking about ourselves. It's basically, when I'm sitting with you as a client, I see what do you need, what is the problem that you're having. Sometimes the problem isn't just technical problem. It's sometimes something related to how the work flows, something related to saving your time from the headache of searching for different things. So if I consult you, if I help you to find whatever you want, then our part of the sales, that the thing that is important for any manufacturing company, it will come eventually. But it will not come by pushing you to just take whatever I'm selling. No, it is consult, help, try to find the right solution, or try to customize your solution, try to give all the help that you can in order that your client gets satisfied and you have this kind of satisfaction from the client. Then the sale will come. Or even if it didn't come, at least we've started building the trust, which is more important in our kind of business than even the product itself. And let me tell you one small thing, that studies say that more than 60% of the decision of buying or taking decision related to any material is something emotional. Products somehow similar. So it's really based on the relationship that we have between us and our clients, and how we can help them. It's not about the product itself. So yeah, consult, not sell.
Wonderful. I mean, if only 20% of our construction businesses would apply this into practice, that would be wonderful. I mean, we're going to come up with wonderful progressions of our projects, and the idea behind selling our projects and selling our concepts in the first place. That is wonderful, Hussam. So I'm going to move now to our entertaining pick and tick. And by that, I will share my screen. Hussam, please, I would like you to share with us one of your favorite quotes that you would like to share with our audience.
Okay, it will be really a surprising quote, and it's very new. It is, don't sell, consult. But this time I will not, but I will not relate it to the business this time. It's basically in our daily lives. We are always selling ourselves, selling our thoughts, our ideas to different people at any point, even now. So the main idea is to help you, whoever I'm dealing with or communicating with, find the thing that he wants. Then I'm selling myself. So I'm always consulting, I'm always helping. So if you put this in your life as a general motto, not just in business, it will be really, really interesting. But give it a try.
Give it a try and consult, don't sell. I mean, that's a wonderful quote to actually share once again for people to share in their daily lives, rather than sharing it only in their businesses or in their work. For those of you who are joining us, please keep your questions in the Q&A section, and we will make sure to answer them at the end of our interview. So for our second section, Hussam, we're moving to pandemic versus the career influence. So for this pandemic, what do you think was one of the biggest challenges you've been encountering in Jolton?
Yeah, it is communication. Now we are meeting virtually. This is one of the positive things. This is how we overcome the challenge. But there is no substitute for kind of a meeting or a gathering, the way that we can share ideas and have, the endless kind of discussions. Face to face is something that we didn't actually knew that it is really that important until it's gone. So that was one of the challenges that faces us, because Our work basically is meeting clients, meeting consultants, going to the sites. So with lots of restrictions happening, it's really challenging. But the virtual platforms made it a bit easier. Not to the extent that it will substitute at any point the actual physical kind of meetings, but it is a good way to overcome that challenge.
That is interesting, and that is actually one of the adaptations that we are actually that we have to actually adapt to in our daily lives. So you have moving forward, I'd like to ask: have you been encountering disruptions in supply chain at Jotun due to COVID-19, and how have you been able to overcome them, because you work with paints and colors and so on?
So luckily, till now, crossing fingers, we didn't have any disruption in the supply chain. But one of the sad things or the challenging things really in these days is the inability to forecast anything. Things now are changing in a snap. So we wake up in the morning, this country is on lockdown, or this area is on lockdown. So we have to be prepared. We have to have plan A, B, C, and all the letters that you can say. And we started doing this. So we diversified our way of getting the material, even our stores here in Qatar itself, because in the early days, there was the lockdown of the industrial area. So we had to be prepared. So we had different locations. So we make sure that if something happened in our warehouse or factory in the industrial area port, okay, we will have something somewhere else that we can continue supply from. And the same happened with the raw materials that's coming from outside. So we had from different places. If you are getting something for China, we continue to have it from many other countries, maybe Turkey, maybe Oman, and also India. So in the end, we tried having lots of plan Bs when it comes to the supply chain. And as I told you, luckily we didn't have any disruption till date, and I hope it will remain the same.
We hope that as well, because it's hard to actually keep it maintained for a long period of time, but fingers crossed. So up to my next question: from your expertise as a specification manager, in what ways do you think the specifications and requirements of materials or of colors and paints can change and be impacted by this pandemic in the future? So
yeah. So actually, there is kind of a trend that is happening nowadays, which is the global need actually of hygienic materials, antibacterial, antifungal, the materials that have something related to the health of the occupants of the space. So fortunately, we have lots of these materials in our portfolio. And I see that the need from the consultants and architects are really high in the last period for that type of material. And this is in a way going to shift the dialogue about the paints from just something that will contribute to the aesthetics of the project, just a color, to the color and the functionality of the paint. Because usually people look at the paint as something that will, this is nice to have, but actually it has a function and many functions, not just the things that related to the health. Many types of protection can be achieved only by applying the right type of paint, which is actually good to see that the market is now aware of such functions.
So you have such specifications are already they're already available. That is very interesting. Actually, I didn't know about that until now. Thank you, Hussam.
Just also one note. There's one consultant that is now asking me to list. I'm helping them to list all the material actually in the market, not only in Jotun, that has certain types of criteria related to the indoor air quality, the health issues, what is good for children, what is good for the people, and this is to make a kind of a new preferred vendor list only for this part, so he can easily after that pick the right paint from these manufacturers in no time.
That is very interesting. I mean, there should be more awareness about that. I didn't know that until now. Thank you, Hussam, for sharing. So, as you know, COVID has encouraged agile and resilient solutions for our future developments. So how do you think Jotun, or you as an individual even, will be able to adapt to such solutions and incorporate them into your domain and with your team?
So as a company, the innovations and again keeping pace with the new trends in the market and stuff like this is actually the one core thing of what we are doing in Jotun. So we have many levels of innovations, getting the ideas from the people, from the market, whether it's sales or the project needs. So I can tell you that yes, we are in line with whatever is happening now, and in stocks now, we are contributing to development of new things that will be available in the future, not just to meet the requirement, but to set new benchmarks. For example, we know that the modular kind of buildings, the multifunctional use, yes, we are trying to develop the paints or enhance the paints that we have that can work in different places and achieve different types of functionality to be adaptive to the new construction and design trends.
That is very interesting. Thank you, Hussam, for sharing. I mean, I hope that we can all adapt to such new changes and new developments that we will be encountering, especially for such agile and resilient solutions. Fingers crossed again. So yes. I will move now to my second pick and tick, and now I would like you to share with us, please, one advice for future generations. Other than
no, it is not. Don't sell, consult. So it is consult, don't sell. I'm sorry. Okay. The advice is, please don't settle. Don't stop at any closed door. This is one thing that I learned. I'm not going to say the hard way, but again, if you have some career path is going to be stuck for a while, or something that is not happening the way that you want, be bold, be brave, and try new things, try new approaches. And believe it or not, if you are dedicated and if you are putting all your efforts in this, success is not related to one field. Success is related to the amount of work and effort that you are going to devote in whatever job that you're doing. So you will reach the success that you want in whatever path that you take. So just don't settle and don't stop at any closed door. That's my advice to anyone.
Wonderful. I should actually go wild and go bold and take that risk. Wonderful. Thank you, Hussam, for sharing. And now I'd like to move to our third section, and our third section mainly is only a set of 2 questions. So what technological advancements and innovations do you think you will be able to adopt in the field, or in your field, I mean, and in the future, to better improve material specifications and requirements, or even paints? So there are there any in your opinion?
Okay, so there's 2 things. The first one is there is kind of development that is happening in the market generally of the antiviral materials. So antiviral materials is going to be materials that will be a bit of disinfectant that will kill any type of virus or certain types of virus that will be on the surface for a certain amount of time. So having this type of material in the market will make it easier for people to, implement the new hygienic kind of not restriction, but the new type of standard that is happening in our world. The second part is related to saving the time and effort for the consultants and architects for finding the right specification for their projects. For example, it takes lots of research for the specification writer in any firm to find just the right type of paint, and paint is one of 1,000 items that he needs to find. So having some kind of a portal from the suppliers that will have the right type of material, the technical information that they have just on the snap, to make sure that they can go the full path, and just they can contact you in at last if they have more questions. But they don't just stuck in square zero. They start, they find what they want, and they can do all their job, maybe specifying the same exact standard of specification like CSI format or whatever, so they can find all that they want in one place. Then, if they need more assistance, they can find it with the supplier. So these two things are now under development, and for sure, when they are out in the market, these things will save lots of time and energy for the engineers and architects.
But how do you think technology is actually will take part, or technological advancements will take part? I mean, in such approaches, how will it contribute, or do you not see any innovations taking part?
Well, as I'm saying, these web portals, now every website will have some kind of material, but it is like you still need to search for each and every website. But there is kind of a portal, regional portal for materials, that this kind of not a technological, but it's just a way of making things easy through the digital web. So yes, this is what I feel. Rather this in my firm, I don't think that that technological part will take more share of that.
So no robots will be painting instead of humans.
Till date, humans will still suffer a bit in this area.
That is great, Hussam. That was just sharing your insight. We would like to see what your insights are in regards to that. And we actually are enthralled to have this portal shared with us soon, because it will make our lives easier. So for my last question for this interview, in the future, I think that users will focus more on multifunctional and multi-purpose spaces due to this pandemic, or because we will aim for more household functions. So how will Jotun be able to achieve client demands in the future in your option, having said that this prototype will be in demand?
As I told you, we are working now on enhancing the kind of functionality of our paints. For example, having more than one thing in the paint. So paints can do some aesthetics for sure, and again, can be antiviral, it can be antibacterial, it can help in purifying the air. For example, these things that I'm saying is actually it's happening. To have a paint that acts as an air purifier. So this is really there, and it is in the market. So these type of paints can work in different places, can achieve different types of function or demands from the client, to make sure that it is adaptive to the new design. Maybe the self-priming paints to reduce the time, because now things are a bit behind the schedule and behind deadlines. So we need things that will help solve the problems that's happening on our sites. That's basically the idea.
That is very interesting. I mean, thank you, Hussam, for sharing that. That is something unexpected, and we didn't know it's available. But the developments that you are working on and the things that you are actually innovating in the near future, and your portal is actually very interesting for you to share with us in the near future, which we will be enthralled to have and to use, because it seems to be very user-friendly. Thank you, Hussam, for this interview. Now we're going to move off to our Q&A from our audience. We have one question actually from Armani, and she is asking, how do you educate the client for new sustainable approaches, especially because the initial costs will be high?
Okay, so we are taking the paints, for example, because this is where I come from. So we have lots of material, educational material, that is built to give all the information that the client or the architect or the contractor needs in all of their scopes and fields, to understand what is the role of this paint, how this paint, for example, will get you your LEED points or your points in the green standard that you're having. This is one point. For another point, what is the life cycle cost for this paint? Yes, you will pay initially a bit higher, but what types of savings that will happen in the future? It's there based on some case studies. And for sure, for the consultant, what types of criteria that you will be putting as benchmarks, how it will be helping not just complying to a standard, but designing for the people. Is it really going to help the people living in this space, or it's just going to be neglected by the contractor and take, for example, another route in the green standard? So how can you easily get your point and get the project done with something that really adds value, and also can save some money for the client in the future. This full cycle or this full story is there in our educational material that we usually do presentations and seminars on with our contractors, consultants, and client to make sure that they all know that we have this type of solution, and paints in generally can contribute that much in the green building. Maybe it's something that can enhance their ability to go with that with this approach, for example.
That is very interesting, Hussam. Thank you for sharing again. We have another question from Tinu. Tinu is asking, what really motivates you to stay strategic during this situation? That's a very interesting question, actually. It's hard to speak it all the time.
That's really, it's really tricky questions. To be honest, what motivates me and what keeps me going is that I have a bit of long-term plans. In our work, it's not just that you get some project. It is your achievement. There is iconic project that you cannot miss. There's things that you really will be kind of proud to contribute or to be part of this project. For example, one of the things that are keeping us all going here in Qatar in the last couple of years is the World Cup. So I'm happy to say that at least from our part of the story, we are involved in more than 50% of the stadiums that is now built. This thing was
Hussam, can you guys hear us? Hussam, we lost your connection. Hello? There is no audio. I'm just gonna check that. Let us try out once again with Hussam. Sorry, we lost Hussam. He's gonna come back probably shortly. Okay, I will double check with Hussam. Sorry for that, guys. Oh, we have Hussam back. Hussam, we lost your connection. Okay, but just a second, you are on mute. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you. Super.
Yeah, I don't know whether the answer was clear or not.
Actually, it's quite motivating to actually keep yourself distracted at all times. It was clear. We are sorry for the disconnection that happened, and it happens all the time. I mean, we should be adapted to this situation. And once again. So we have another final question from Umayma, the founder of the Architects Hub. She says that she knows some people who use Jotun paints for home art projects. So you recently launched a Zero product. Do you have now the full color range on the Zero product? And can you tell us more about this product?
Okay, so let me answer these two-part question. The first thing, yes, now we are having almost 1,000 color in the Zero collection, which is the full NCS color portfolio. So any type of color or any color that you can imagine or see, yes, we can achieve it in the Zero. What is the Zero? It's actually I didn't want to talk about it in the beginning because I told you that we have this type of paint. So it is a Zero VOC kind of interior paint, which is the VOC is the volatile organic compound, which is the harmful kind of part of the paint. So it has zero of that, and it has something called formaldehyde abatement technology. Formaldehyde is one of the harmful kind of compounds that is part of the VOCs, and the material is basically inhaling the formaldehyde and exhaling again the formaldehyde after having some kind of chemical connection inside the paint film into, again, water vapor. So you have kind of air purifying technology inside this paint. So it's really helpful to have it in kids' rooms, maybe in hospitals, in health facilities. And again, it's available in all colors. and it has the major functionality of the paint in traffic areas, which is the high washability and ability to recoat it again, and it has zero smell. So I think it has everything that you can find in or you need in a paint.
That is great, actually. Hussam, do you have anything that any online website or information that we can share with our audience?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I will write it down. So when we talked about the portal, it's already there. It's called Jotun Professionals. It is one website. You can find all the paints, whether it's for decorative, for intumescent, floor coating, for powder coating, steel protection, any type of paint or coating that you want in one place, and it's divided into for contractors, specifiers, architects, consultants. You can find the specification and download it. You can find the color charts, basically everything that you need about the paint. So I will write it also in the comments now. Plus also there is one other website for green building solutions, especially, and it has all the materials that is complying with the local standards, the regional standards, and how they can save points or how can they add points for you in the future if you take the route that will have this type of material. So these two websites are the main ones that it will be really interesting if you just take a look and see what's the new approach that we are taking there, and tell us your feedback for sure.
That is wonderful. I actually shared one of the links that you've mentioned, which is the professionals one for the Jotun for professionals.
Exactly.
Go ahead and share. Is this the right one? It's the products for professionals.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So Hussam, we have another question from Armani. She is asking, does Jotun give opportunities to the fresh architecture graduates?
What type of, I can't get that.
I believe Armani meant if you have job opportunities for architects or for junior architects. Do you actually give such opportunities?
We usually sometimes, yes, we have vacancies related to the interior design and color consultancy, and also we can give the opportunity if you want any kind of training on colors, on what is the paint, how you can incorporate the paint in your design, mainly also CPD sessions on colors and color selection. Anything related to that we are having, and it will be our honor to help with that for sure. And I told you before that okay.
Sorry, what about internships? That's what I meant. She just clarified. She meant internships.
Yeah. So we don't have internships in the time being, but I'm sure if there is anything that will be there in the future, I will be posting with the Architects Hub, and I'm sure that it will reach for you.
Yeah.
And as I told you before the meeting, that we are offering the Architects Hub members. We will make some session, yes, exactly, on color design and color selections. Just tell us when it will be okay to have this kind of session. I wish, and because we love to work. This is colors, so it will be lots of mood boards, lots of coloring. It's really nice to have it physically, but if the situation didn't get better in the next month or so it can be done virtually online through Zoom or through Teams, and it will be really great to have it. I just want to tell you that the website that I shared is not correct. Let me write the correct one. Yes.
Meanwhile, I will just let our audience know, please, whoever is interested from our attendees to, since already Hussam shared the news, for those of you who are interested to actually attend this this workshop that Hussam will be preparing virtually, and we will arrange a date for that, Hussam, inshallah, in the meantime. Please share your name and your emails in our chat, and we will make sure to contact you as soon as possible and as soon as we arrange this virtual one. And we hope, as Hussam mentioned, we hope to make it an actual one.
Yes.
So We have also Umayma, she's asking, are you creating an artist's package? Are artists a customer type, or are you only focusing on contract projects? It would be great to have an artist package with special brushes and such. That's actually interesting.
To be honest, till now we didn't have a specific focus for artists, but it will be really amazing if there is if we can have some kind of a connection with them. Usually we had some connections before, but it's really like a very individual kind of approach. Over the years, we just encountered a couple of people who are really artists and they like to paint with our paints, so we help them. But we didn't see if there is kind of a community for the artists, or if there is any kind of activity that they are doing. We would love to be part of that and to help them with that, whether it's with a package or we can create something for them. But for the time being, we didn't have the opportunity actually. So we would love to do that.
In the future. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
We have another question. Can you elaborate more on the training and CPD sessions?
Okay, we have different CPD sessions. CPD is a session that is approved that will contribute points to your professional, continuous professional development. And it is in a very specific kind of topics. So we have CPDs on powder coatings, on the ISO 12944 for steel protection, for the color, for the colors, and it's part of something called the Color Academy, which will be providing you with the initial step of becoming color consultants, and many other CPDs. I can share with you also on email or something, but after that, because I don't have the list for now, the list of our approved CPDs and the requirement of the number of people. They are all for free. So just when we have the exact number of people, I think it's 10 or 12, something like that. Yes, we can have the CPD sessions, and you can have the certificates afterwards.
That is wonderful, Hussam. Thank you again. For those of you who don't know what CPD is, continuing professional developments, and it's mainly revolving around what Hussam just mentioned. Thank you, Hussam, one last time for joining us. This will mark the end of our interview today. It was simple, straightforward, and it was lovely to have you with your wonderful insights.
Thank you so much.
And we would like you all to stay tuned for our next week's episode to have a very entertaining night. See you all, and Hussam, stay safe, and we are so glad to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. Stay all safe, and see you soon, inshallah. Okay.
So much, and we'll keep everyone posted on our workshop that we will be arranging with Hussam. See you all.
See you. Bye-bye.